Session 40 of Unit 4 of Industrial Relations and Labour Legislation of 6th semester BBA of Mangalore University. In this session, we shall study disciplinary procedure. Though there is no rigid and specific procedure for taking disciplinary action, the disciplinary procedures in Indian industries comprise of the following steps. First is preliminary investigation. First of all, a preliminary enquiry should be held to find out whether a prima facie case of misconduct exists. Second is issue of a charge sheet. When an employee commits an act of misconduct that requires disciplinary action, employees concerned should be issued a charge sheet. Charge sheet is merely a notice of the charge and provides the employee an opportunity to explain his conduct. In the charge sheet, each charge should be clearly specified. There should be a separate charge for each allegation, and charge should not relate to any matter which has already been decided upon. The third step is consideration of explanation. On getting the answer for the letter of charge served, the explanation furnished should be considered, and if it is satisfactory, no disciplinary action need to be taken. On the contrary, when the management is not satisfied with the employee's explanation, there is a need for serving a show cause notice. Fourth is show cause notice. It is issued by the manager when he believes that there is sufficient prima facie evidence of employee's misconduct. However, this gives the employee another chance to account for his misconduct and rebut the charges made against him. Enquiry may also be initiated by first serving him a notice of enquiry indicating clearly the name of the enquiring officer, time, date, and place of enquiry. Next one is suspension pending enquiry. In case the charge is grave, a suspension order may be given to the employee along with the charge sheet or the show cause notice. According to the Industrial Employment Act 1946, the suspended worker is to be paid a subsistence allowance equal 1/2 of his wages for the first 90 days of suspension and 3/4 of the wages for the remaining period of suspension if the days in the completion of disciplinary proceedings are not due to the worker's conduct. Next is notice of enquiry. In case the worker admits the charge in his reply to the charge sheet without any qualification, the employer can go ahead in awarding the punishment without further inquiry. But if the worker does not admit the charge and the charge must hold enquiry to investigate into the charge, the proper and sufficient advance notice should be given to the workers indicating the date, time, and venue of enquiry so that the worker may prepare his case. Next is holding of a full-fledged enquiry. This must be in conformity with the principle of natural justice, that is, the employee concerned must be given an opportunity of being heard. The enquiry should be conducted by an impartial and responsible officer. He should proceed in a proper manner and examine the witnesses. Fair opportunity should be given to the worker to cross-examine the management witnesses. Next step is recording the findings. On the conclusion of the enquiry officer should record his findings and the reasons thereof. As far as possible, he should refrain from recommending punishment and leave it to the decision of the appropriate authority. Next is awarding punishment. The management should decide to punish on the basis of findings of the enquiry, past record of the worker, and gravity of the misconduct. Warning, fine, withholding increments, demotion, suspension, termination are the types of punishment that may be used. Next is communicating punishment. The punishment awarded to the worker should be communicated to him quickly. The letter of communication should contain reference to the charge sheet, the enquiry and the findings. The date from which the punishment is to be effective should also be mentioned. Finally, follow-up. After taking the disciplinary action, a proper follow-up action has to be taken and the consequences of the implementation of disciplinary action should be noted and taken care of. Reference: